Welcome, one and all, to episode 2 of our little podcast. Who the hell needs food? Answer: we all do, doofus. This is a show about complete nutrition products, ladies and gentlemen. Products that claim to provide all your body's nutritional requirements in an easy and convenient form. You may know some of the brands that we're going to be talking about, brands such as Huel, Soylent, JimmyJoy, yFood, Saturo, Dare, and many, many others. Or if you don't know them, you may have seen them on your Instagram with some healthy looking person drinking out of a plastic cup of some fancy branded drinking cup anyway. And you're perhaps curious about what it's all about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've come to the right place. We're here, and in each episode, we're going to look at what's new and interesting in the world of complete nutritional products. Now, you may question, who are we? Well, let's introduce ourselves. I am Clive Illenden. I have a YouTube channel. You may be watching the YouTube channel right now, youtube.com Clive Illenden. And I've been reviewing these products for 5 years now, and I've tried and tested bars, shakes, ready to drinks, shortbreads, gummies, hot and savory dishes, even burgers, all products that provide complete nutrition in a handy, consumable form. And in each episode, I'm ably guided by Enout. Enout, hello.
Thank you, Clive. I'm Enyout or Any for those who cannot pronounce my name. I know it's quite tough but anyways, I have been reviewing meal replacements or complete foods for it's been 3 years now. It's past 3 years. I've also tried multiple kinds like Clive bars, powders, shakes, and I think we're gonna be actually talking about it later on. But I do written content, and you can find all the written content, all the reviews of most of the products that you can find in the market. In the latestfuels.com website. You're very welcome. And I'm looking forward to talk all things complete food now.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, so introductions out of the way. In today's episode, we're going to be looking, as we say, at what's new in the world of complete nutritional products, any new products, any deals, the big sales going on, new flavors, all those sort of things. We'll also then later be doing a deep dive on the various complete food form factors. So, what's the difference between a powder and a ready to drink? What's the difference between a bar and something else? And then, of course, we're going to go on and in that section, we're going to be talking about the various advantages and disadvantages of each, what we tend to use, what you can find in the EU versus, say, North America, etc., etc. Then after that, we're going to be doing a review and comparison. We'll probably be looking at some bars, maybe the Plenny bars versus the yFood bars, maybe some other bars. So we'll be comparing actual bars. Yeah, exactly. But before all that, let's have a roundup of what we've been enjoying, tasting, testing this week. Any, what have you been testing and trying this week?
It might be the perfect time because I'm traveling right now. So some of you might, those who are watching in YouTube, you'll see that the background is different for me. And I've been traveling to the UK, and one thing that I do love when I'm traveling is to have bars. I find that the bars are really, really good, both for the airport part, but then also when you're traveling, sometimes you're looking around, you're roaming around the city, and you don't know what to have, or you might be hungry and you might be snacky and you don't know what to buy. You can always have a bar in your backpack, in your rucksack, and it can save your day. And they're really nice. So on the bar topic, I've been having the Plenny bars, which, as I titled in my review, they might be the best bars in the market right now, at least in my opinion. They're one of the few that they do a more meal oriented, so they're bigger than many of the competitors. They're 400 calories. They have a flapjack like texture, and I find that most of their flavors are really good or extremely good. And there are a couple that are a bit weaker, but all of them are very enjoyable. I've been having those. I've been having a blast, and I highly recommend them if anyone wants to check any bar alternatives. Plenty bars. They're actually really cheap, available in the US and available in Europe. and in the UK also. So you can get them no matter where you are, you know. So yeah, Plenty Bars by JimmyJoy, highly recommended. What about you, Clive?
Yeah, well, it's been quite a busy week here over in, Complete
Well,
Nutrition Towers. I've been testing new flavor from yFood in both the shake and the ready to
always
drink.
good,
Apple cinnamon, a bit Christmassy, that really, I think.
fantastic.
The apple with a bit of
Hmm.
cinnamon is sort of, I don't know, it's a sort of Christmassy flavor, I
It's
guess.
limited edition, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of their limited edition flavors. So get them while you can. They always do great limited edition flavors, really interesting flavors. Always worth a look.
definitely.
I've also tried Dare, which I know you've tried before, haven't you? Uh,
I
Dare
really liked it.
Motivational Shake. Yeah. And I spoke to Dr. Ben, the guy who basically developed Dare. He's an A&E doctor, still working in accident and emergency in hospitals. Don't know how he finds the time to do this, but it's an interesting.
He does it almost.
Yeah, I know, but it's interesting the development. He developed the drink for himself rather than for sort of mass market, and then it just grew from there. Very interesting, very different from the other products, and we'll maybe
I would say it's been
we'll do a feature on that. Yeah.
yeah, we should, because it's one of the most surprising. I don't know whether I said that in my review, but I usually know what to expect, and this
Yeah.
was very unexpected, in a positive way
Yeah.
as well, I must
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Same here. I interestingly enough, though, you know what I had problem with?
tell me.
The shaker, right? The
Oh, it's
bottle.
awful. Sorry, I shouldn't say, but it is awful. Yes, I did tell
No,
Ben that it is
it's
not very functional at all.
no, it is. It is functional. You've got to use it the right way. Now, what happened is that I first tried it. I'm so used to when you take a drink, like to lift
Oh
your
yeah.
head back. Yeah. And then what I didn't realize, so I'm reviewing it. I haven't done the review yet, be able to check it, and you'll be able to see this in the review. It's all dribbling
Mhm.
down onto my top and
Yes.
trousers, right? I didn't realize till later. And I was thinking, oh, it's a design fault. That's a bit weird because I really like the look of the shaker and the bottle. I was thinking, oh, it must be
Oh,
a
it's
design fault.
gorgeous.
And then I realized it's like literally like a straw. So you just you don't tip it back. You just slurp it like a straw. And it's almost counterintuitive because I'm
Yep.
so used to all the other products, which is quite thick, and therefore trying to drink that with a
Hmm.
straw would actually be quite,
It's not.
trying to drink, I don't know, manna or something with a straw would be quite a lot of sucking would be, but so it's a bit
Very
weird, the
counterintuitive.
idea that you do this, but because this is more water-like in its consistency, it actually,
Hmm.
it almost just goes into, as soon as you put your mouth over the spout, it almost goes into your mouth automatically. It's amazing. But until I
Yeah,
realized that, I was just spilling it all over me. It was annoying. But I
I did the
still,
same
out of
mistake, and
habit,
t-shirt was like
yeah, I still out of
t-shirt too
habit
were like, yeah,
occasionally
damaged.
forget and tip my head back, and then it dribbles down again. I think, no, you don't have to, because he made it
Yeah,
for quickly grab it, and it's sort of spill proof
and drink
and
it.
all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it takes a little bit getting used to, but
I
when you
mean,
get used to it, it works really well.
it's very nice. Yeah, we'll talk more about it. You can actually make it thicker if you leave it for like 15, 30 minutes. Actually, it
Right,
thickens quite a
interesting.
lot,
Yeah, okay.
which is my preference usually, and I ended up doing
Yeah.
that. And the other one is there's a flavor, very UK flavor. I would call it Jaffa cake flavor. The
Yes,
Jaffa and
yes.
orange, Jaffa orange
Cocoa,
and cocoa, which is
the coke.
very UK.
Yeah. So the cocoa flavor is one of the base ingredients in it, and all of them. This is
Hmm.
the cocoa
Yes.
vanilla frosting, and then the other one was cocoa and peanut, and then, as you say, the cocoa and Jaffa orange. There's a whole thing about chocolate orange. As you say, it's a very British thing, but
Hmm.
equally, you either like it or you don't. It's a bit like
Or not.
Marmite. It's like you love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
But they're very chocolatey. They're the most chocolate flavoring thing. There's plenty of other products that have a chocolate flavoring. This feels much more chocolate
For sure.
because um, the order of the ingredients, is sort of protein, then the cocoa. and oats
Mhm.
comes much further down the list, whereas on all other products,
Mhm.
the oats is much higher up on the list, and that's what makes them much thicker. That's my theory anyway. And then there's loads of interesting ingredients in here. I mean, I'll do a full review on my site, but some of the ingredients are really interesting. So you've got maca root powder, green tea
Mhm.
extract, matcha green tea, acai berry. So just there's some spinach in here. So things that you might see maybe in a smoothie.
Smoothie, like. Mhm.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the thickness of a smoothie, but it has some of the ingredients you might find in a smoothie that give you that
Nor the
kind of,
taste.
yeah, motivational. No, it tastes like chocolate. But anyway, so
Yeah.
really interesting product. I'm really glad I tried it. Um,
Mhm.
and I'll be doing, say there will be a full review on YouTube. Um, yFood as well. We'll talk about, so not yFood. Huel sent me some protein bars.
Big news. Yes,
Yes.
big news.
So of course they did the protein
Quite
powder.
unexpected as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of people thought they would be like because they teased they were bringing out a bar, and it was sort of
Mhm.
black, and so I think a lot of people
Mm.
assumed it might be the Huel Black Edition bar.
Black
So
bar. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the black bar. But
Mhm.
actually, and if you look at the branding and the black branding, it is the same branding as their Huel protein powder. That's
Mhm.
effectively, which is a snack, not a a meal replacement. The protein powder is meant as a snack, and these are meant
Mhm.
as a protein snack. So
Mhm.
it's their kind of continued move into the field of protein products as opposed to complete nutrition products. I mean, it has the complete nutrition, but its focus is not meant to be, like I say, to replace a meal. It's meant to be a protein snack post workout, pre-workout,
Which I have a lot of
afternoon
thought
kind of
on, and
energy.
at some point I
Yeah,
will go into a
yeah,
rant.
yeah. Um,
A warning.
yeah. I'm struggling with the review, put it that way, that I'm currently doing.
Okay.
It's very interesting, and maybe we'll touch on it later. But
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, the Huel. But interestingly enough, also Huel sent me I guess it's like a Christmas hamper. Uh, they sent it to me because they just love my reviews. But the creepy thing is, uh, in it, and I'll show this to the camera here. It comes with what they call the healthy elfie. You see that? If you're watching on YouTube, you can see what it is. But if you're listening on the podcast, it's quite a creepy looking elf, like an elf on the shelf. If people are familiar with the elf on the shelf approach, in sort of black and grey, sort of Huel black and
Almost as
grey.
scary, I would say.
He is creepy, isn't he? And he's sitting in one of their Huel
Yeah.
aluminium cups that come with the protein powder. Actually, they use this for the protein.
Mhm.
This is like one of these camper cups that you go out camping with. Um, and
Yeah.
the idea is they've sent them out to their brand ambassadors. Um, and the idea is we're meant
Mhm.
to take photographs of Huel products with the healthy Elfie, the Huel healthy Elfie. I've done one on Instagram, but yeah, I showed this to my daughter,
Yeah.
and
Check it out.
she's a goth. She loves all things dark and weird. But even she went, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
he's creepy." Uh, sorry, Hill, but he's a creepy elf. Maybe he's meant to be the elf on the shelf. Anyway, um,
I
and they
must say
sent
the
me,
marketing is usually spot on. So
yeah,
when I saw it, like oh, I'm in shock. I would never expect anything like it, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
yeah, creepy,
yeah,
weird, and
yeah. The box in it, it's got a little this little snowdrop on the snowflake on the side, and it's full of those little things in the box, along with the Huel powder, the the standard one, the white one, which I've not had in ages because I never liked it when they changed the recipe, and a new Huel
oh,
bottle. I never did get a new Huel bottle, so I'm glad I got one of those,
oh, they're
and
actually.
a tote bag.
I was gonna give them a low flag, but it's actually surprisingly good. Like I think the new Huel shakers,
Yeah, it looks.
despite their branding being over the top, they're actually pretty good, and I would say they might be the best in the business, if not
Yeah, it's really
close.
cool. It's a really cool looking capsule sort of thing, isn't it? For that, again, if
Yep.
you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening on the podcast. Please subscribe and all of that. Yeah, it's a really interesting sort of. It's like a space age capsule, very different from all the other. Because I
Yes.
think I showed it, or I've certainly done a review where I've showed, or was it in last week's episode that we did? I showed like I've got so many bottles, containers, and they're all the.
Yes.
I swear they're getting manufactured by the same manufacturer, and then they just stick on their branding.
Yeah. It's just.
But it's good to see
Mhm.
like the one that came with the Dare shaker that we talked about is very, very different. I remember Bertrand had a really cool shaker. I like their shaker. And
Oh
now
yes.
Huel have got this
Hmm.
one, which is really,
Hmm.
interesting. I've not used it yet, but it's very good. So yeah, that's what I've been looking at. This week. So quite a lot. My sort of I've been filming the reactions. What I tend to do is I film the reactions, I do the tastings, and then I film the rest of the video a bit later. So I've got all these bits and bobs of filmed reactions that I've got to then film extra bits and then edit later. So there's a lot of work I've got over the next few weeks just editing these reviews. Anyway, as I said, that's what we've been looking at. Latest news. What's new in the world of complete nutrition?
I mean, yeah. I think we should have started with like maybe the biggest new, or at least the one that had the most impact was the Huel Bar
Yeah,
revelation
yes,
reveal.
yeah,
Um, that we were just talking about.
yeah,
So they first teased it in, I think, maybe Instagram. Huel likes, if you want to
yeah,
be on top of Huel, they love their Instagram. They will
yeah.
tease a lot of things there. There you
I'm
go.
just
Try to
showing it
show
on
them to you.
the. I'm showing it on the
Hmm.
screen there, so you can see there. They come in there. So the flavors are peanut butter, banoffee, raspberry, and I've got one on top of each other. What was the other one? Oh, and salted caramel, of course. There we are. So peanut butter, banoffee, salted caramel, and raspberry, and they're protein bars. That's the distinction, isn't it,
Hmm.
between the bars that we might talk about
Yes.
later?
No, I was gonna say. So a lot. We spoke last week about how popular Huel Black has gotten, and a
Yeah,
lot of people have been claiming for the Huel Black RTD, or another addition on the Huel Black lineup. Uh, so a lot of people, when they saw this announcement, as you say, they were really hyped. Oh
yeah,
wow, it's finally something else.
yeah,
It's the Huel Black bar, or whatever. Uh,
yeah.
I would say this is probably the closest you're gonna get to a Huel Bar Black.
I,
Because it's already
I think
really
so.
high in
Yeah,
protein. It's a
yeah,
protein bar. It's low in sugars, although it does have a sugar alcohol erythritol, which
yeah. That
Huel
I've
Black
not.
does not have any.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with
Does not.
that ingredient. Um,
It's very, very, very common in bars, and in particularly in protein bars, because it allows to have a low calorie, because it's like a low calorie sweetener,
yeah,
sweetened, and you can show low sugars. You can show that it's still sweet, and it does have that sweet taste, and it's still it's, I guess, it goes very well in bars, and in the solid format that's usually a
yeah,
challenge. Like, so maybe sucralose does not act very well in that aspect, or maybe you cannot use acesulfame K or something like that. So sugar alcohols are very, very popular in bars, and that's one thing I will say. Yes, the Huel bar is interesting. It's because it's coming from Huel, and it's interesting because it has the vitamins and minerals added to the protein bar. But from the protein perspective, uh, I don't think it's something like, if you come from consuming protein bars, it might not be mind blowing. Besides the fact that it has vitamins and minerals, I haven't done the full review, so
mm,
I'll judge that later on. I haven't tried the taste either, but yeah, it's interesting that you have gone for upgrading their protein lineup basically.
yeah,
As I
yeah.
said, I don't think there's going to be a Huel Black bar.
No, it's a shame because like we touched on it last episode where it was interesting that we've seen the protein powder companies move into the complete nutritional powders and stuff like that because they've obviously seen it's a it's a
Mhm.
fast and growing market. So to traditional, companies that make, whey products and stuff like that, and protein for bodybuilders and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff, have moved into the complete nutritional product field. And then we touched on it last episode, where we said it's interesting that Huel are diversifying into the protein market, providing protein
Mhm.
specific products, as opposed to just limiting it to the complete nutritional range, even though their protein products still have all the kind of nutrition, but they have like a focus. So they're, aiming at that kind of, arguably, the fitness market, in terms of people who want to
Fitness.
get that protein on board and stuff like that. There's 20 grams of protein in
So
the bar
yes,
for a
in
quite a
200
small
calories.
bar.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 200 calories exactly. So in a complete those bars that are a full meal, so 400 calories
Mhm.
plus. If this was that would be equivalent of 40 grams
Mm.
of protein. So that
A
just
lot
gives
for
a
like Huel
sense
Black has
of
40 grams.
yeah, it's how much protein you're getting. Yeah, so that, I think you're right. It's the closest you're going to get to a Huel Black bar with that amount of
Uh,
protein.
I guess it's the
Yeah,
right time now. Now that we're talking about how Huel has expanded their protein line, I'll go into a bit of a rant or
yeah. Go ahead.
coming from from a complete food perspective, and maybe I'm a puritan and I'm not thinking straight ahead, but it is interesting to see the leading company, in this case Huel, uh, choosing to go for protein products. From an industry standpoint, it makes perfect sense because you already have, particularly in the UK, a huge name recognition. I've been in the UK. I'm now in the UK, and it's the only place where I've talked about my work and people actually are like, oh wow, you work with Huel, or do you do something for Huel? People actually recognize, it's the first time, and I've been traveling to the various different countries. It's the first time that people actually recognize what I
I,
do,
I, I
which is
saw
funny.
I saw what was it? Yeah, I was driving along. I saw a jogger, and he was jogging
Hmm.
past, and he had his Huel t-shirt on, like, and
Yep.
so it's like I've almost felt like winding down the window and going, "Yeah, hooligan," or something like that, and sort of, but it is because it's becoming more and more part of, it's sort of entering the
Yeah, the
mainstream
British.
in a way, more than
Yes,
any other product.
in
Yeah,
the UK.
yeah,
So it's interesting when you have the leading company, which in theory is meant to quote unquote represent the market, and they have the most selling products in the market. Instead of creating, arguably they already created two powders, one RTD, one bar, and one hot and savory. So their lineup is quite full already. But instead of trying to keep going with more complete food products, and I don't know which variation that would be, maybe a burger like Mana did, they chose to go for protein. And they chose to, as I said, it makes sense in the industry. They have a huge already backup of vegan, particularly vegan people, and they chose to go for the vegan protein sector, which is incredibly competitive, incredibly competitive. Bulk, my protein, naked nutrition,
yeah,
uh, the protein wars. There's so many, so many, and they chose to leverage their user base in order to try to get a foot in that protein market. And that's them saying there's a lot of money to be made in the complete food nutrition, but there's a lot more money to be made in the
yeah,
protein
yeah,
angle, and we want it. So
yeah.
it
We
was
want a
interesting
slice of
to
that
see that at
pie.
least they went to
Yeah,
like, yeah. So that's why, like, I feel that if they were focused on the complete nutrition angle, we would have seen the black RTD, but instead of
yeah.
the black RTD, we're getting this new bar. And if I'm being honest, I really enjoyed the Huel Complete Protein, and it was a really nice surprise for
Yeah,
the first try.
I
It
liked
was a
it. Yeah,
really good
the
one,
powder. Yeah, it's quite
very good.
nice as a
So,
drink, like as an afternoon drink. It's almost like a kind of a
oh yeah, yeah.
milkshakey thing. It's quite nice, and it's not too much, and it literally goes perfectly to the top of the little
Oh,
metal
okay.
cup that they provide. Yeah, it fills it
Oh,
perfectly
okay.
right to the top. This is the absolute perfect size for the protein powder that she'll do. It's slightly, if I because I blitz it in the NutriBullet, so it's slightly frothy. It's
Hmm.
got a nice little slight, and it's just really the strawberries and cream, and then I think the other one was banana
Chocolate
one.
brownie. or something like
Uh,
that. Banana,
um,
chocolate brownies, strawberries, and
yeah.
maybe
So
salted caramel because everything is salted caramel right now.
yeah, I think it's I had the salted caramel one probably, and yeah, but it's really nice. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's interesting because while we're on the subject, so Huel do innovate. I mean, that's the thing that you know
Hmm.
they introduced the hot and savory range. No one else was really
Which is
doing it. I
excellent.
know Plenny did the Plenny Pot, but it was about the same time. Um,
Yep, same
and
time.
they did the breakfast. I really liked that breakfast. I think they stopped
The
doing it.
granola
The
one.
granola, yeah, I thought that was a great idea.
Hmm.
You know, but they
You're not
stopped
the
doing
only
that.
one.
Yeah, they stopped doing that, which is a shame. But as a grab and go protein bar, it is interesting. So it'd be interesting to see what. Anyway, as I say, this is part of the news thing. It'd be interesting to see
Yeah.
what the general response is. I'm in the middle of doing a review. I'm not sure about it in terms of the taste.
we yeah, discover it when the full review is released. Let's see. Let's see
Yeah,
what Clive
yeah, yeah,
thinks then.
yeah, yeah. Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this space. Okay. Any other kind of news and stuff?
I was gonna say, well, I hope you grabbed some sales because they were really, really good sales. So
Yeah,
from some of
yeah,
the companies in during Black Friday, unfortunately, I think most of them are gone already. So if
yeah.
you're looking for discounts, I would maybe look for new accounts. Because New Year is a
Yeah,
very competitive time. A lot of the brands will be pushing at least 10% or 30%.
especially
So I would, or
fitness. It's fitness time, isn't it? January, every like new diets,
yes, it
new
is
health,
fitness time.
new lifestyles. Yeah,
New Year,
definitely.
new me. And yeah,
Yeah.
and talking about new things, there was a brand, the brand I reviewed it in my site is called Control Drink. It was originally, I think, formed by a Face. It's a Face, the e-sports company.
All
Yeah, so it's
right.
developed by Face Clan, Drink
Really?
Control, and it was only available in the US, and I think now it's available in the UK too. Uh, Very sweet, extremely sweet
Well, that's because it's
flavors.
for those kids. You
They
see,
have
it's aimed at those gamer kids.
it is. It's like cinnamon toast and birthday cake, and they have really flashy names on their flavors. And I know I
Yeah.
didn't try them. My writer in the US,
Oh yeah.
Johnny, did, and he said that yeah, they are very sweet, and he didn't like them. Here his daughter liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are
I reckon
looking
my
for something
son
that is
would drink.
extremely sweet,
Yeah, I reckon my son would pretend to like it. Do you know what I mean?
oh okay.
Because it's not because recommended it. It's because FaZe recommended it. So those who don't know FaZe, they're like say esports. Well, they're more than esports. They're a gaming brand. Like a esports type gaming brand, but they also do loads of other stuff that like clans on YouTube, all about gaming and stuff like that. So it's interesting, but it's interesting because obviously I've seen within gaming the energy drink is a massive part of gaming and those kind of drinks that we see. So it's interesting that they're moving into a meal sort of a complete nutritional product phase on the old for gaming as opposed to just the drinks that you might get. I'm curious what they'll taste like now. So there we are. FaZe Clan. They're established in 2010 by three friends with a huge passion for gaming. So now FaZe Clan has long championed, apparently, the importance of health and fitness for gamers. By taking a stake in control, so the product will exist, we can bring much needed attention to the importance of better nutrition and provide a healthy option built especially for gamers by people who understand this community best. Very interesting because as a gamer myself and a streamer, one of the reasons I started drinking Huel is that I would be streaming, every day, and it's just interesting that a gaming brand jumped onto it. I used to drink Huel for this very reason that I was streaming all day, and that can lead you to having an unhealthy kind of lunch and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just interesting that we think that someone like them are moving into that sector.
This fear, yeah.
Any other news?
No, really, not really. I'll just keep an eye for Yeah, Clive's reviews, because he's reviewing a lot of the products that they're very interesting.
Definitely.
So I will keep an eye on that.
So one thing I haven't, there's a new Plenny have got caramel sea salt flavor. They've added a brand new
Yes.
flavor.
Yep.
As if we've seen a few sea salt caramel and sea salt type things. They do the bar, don't they, in that flavor already? I think
They
they
do the
do a
bar,
Plenny
yeah.
bar.
Huel
Yeah,
has it in every single
yeah,
thing as well.
yeah. Huel
I
has
think
it. I
yFood has it
love
as well. We
salted.
said.
Yeah, they do. I love a salted caramel thing. I love that. So that's interesting to see. I don't have any of that product at the moment, so hopefully they'll
Neither do I.
send me some. So that's about it in terms of the news and the drink control. I think that drink control thing and FaZe Clan, a gaming brand, moving into that field is really, really interesting, and definitely something to look out for. You know, could be diversifying away from the gamer drinks, energy drinks, into, because hey, it makes gamers healthy. Why not? So there we go.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go to the main topic of the day. We touched on it a little bit. And it's like there are so many options that we've talked about just now, really, in terms of, we talked about bars, we've talked about ready to drinks, we've talked about shakes, the hot and savories, burgers. I've had gummies from Japan, which give you a complete meal, and they're literally like a gummy. It's just I've had shortcake thing from Japan as well, just lots of different variety of products. So the question is, though, are all complete nutritional products or types or form factors built the same? Are they all equal? What's the fundamental difference? And that's what we're going to look at today.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. I would say that in a general overview, there's three main categories. I would say there's the powder, which is usually the cheapest, most affordable format. The powder is also the one that most brands will start with, just because you can kind of do it at home. As I think we might have touched it in last episode, you can ha- order your oats, order your vitamin and mineral mix, order your protein powder, maybe some flax seeds, and generate it at home. I know of a friend who he didn't know I was working on that, but I went one day, we met for breakfast, and he was saying, well, yeah, I'm having, I make these mixes with flaxseed, with oats, and I'm like trying to find like new different things to add on top of it. And, he was basically doing DIY Soylent. And I was like, that is exactly the kind of product that I review.
Yeah, which it's interesting because I spoke to the creator of Dare, who, as I say, was a doctor who still works in accident and emergency in hospitals, and he did that. He created his own Soylent sort of type product. I mean, he had protein shakes and stuff like that, but he started off with protein powder and then researched it and started adding lots of other ingredients and came up with his own shake in the form of a powder that you just add water to. So it's just interesting that you say that people, started creating their own for their own personal use. This is where Dare came. It was for the guy's own personal use.
That's where Mana came from. That's where Soylent came from, and that's where like still some of my favorite products like Powder Mother. They're very heavily based on one individual mixing the powders together, milling the powders together, sending it to the customer, and he takes care of the whole process himself. And it's the easiest way, it's the cheapest way, and you don't have many restraints. Also, I think that most of the ingredients play nice, because what you will realize is that some of the ingredients do not play nice in the liquid format or in the bar format. You started to get limited. Like some of them are like, the oils don't want to, play nice in the bars, or you need a lot of sugars, or to make the bar solid.
That's
and
the thing
piece everything together.
You've got to make compromises, aren't you? Because you're basically
exactly.
So the company, what they're trying to do is saying, is there a more convenient way to get this into your body quicker? So the natural progression there from the shakes, from the powders, is to sort of, for companies to say, I tell you what, we'll mix it ourselves and give it to you. And that's how the drinks the ready to drink kind of form factor, came about, because people just want that convenience of literally grabbing it out of the fridge. You're running late, you haven't got time to mix. Like, it doesn't take long to mix your own stuff, but like, no, we're in a fast
Yeah, but you
world.
have to wash it after.
Yeah, exactly. You can't leave it in the sink all day until you get back from work. You can't fit, it's too big to fit in your bag. This big bottle. Grab one of these, or the Huel or whatever it is. It's lunch on the go, breakfast on the go, whatever. So that was sort of, it's convenience, isn't it? It's all about getting all that
It's all
healthy
about convenience.
nutrition, convenience. And then the other one, as you say, the bar, which as you said, you were using bars for traveling around. I've done that whenever I've gone out, or I'm hiking, or not that I do that,
So handy.
camping. Yeah, or go on a can't take this on the plane. If you're traveling by the airport, can't take that on the plane. You can take the bar on the plane, and there you've got, your sort of, snacks if you sort of don't make it to a food stop or anything, wherever, or restaurant or wherever, you can keep going if you're on a long journey. So the bars are that natural progression. But as you say, I think going from the powder to a ready to drink, whilst there are compromises made, is a bit easier from then saying, okay, how do we get everything that's in the powder in a 400 or 500 calorie form crammed into a bar? I mean, on the drink side, it's interesting because the yFood ingredients from their powder, when I look at their powder and their ingredients, so they use semi-skimmed milk. So not many other products use semi-skimmed milk in their ready to drinks.
Water usually.
Yeah, they use water. So yFood, why I think it tastes so nice, use semi-skimmed milk in this, and then that's the only real difference. And then milk protein, and then in the powder they use milk protein with water. So they kind of make up a milk sort of thing. But that's the only real difference between these two. Whereas the Huel, as we discussed last episode, when I talked about the Huel ready to drink new flavors, I noticed that there's quite a bit of difference between their ready to drinks and their standard white powder Huel. For those listening on podcasts, I'm actually showing people here, but their standard white powder that they do, there's quite a bit of difference between this and their ready to drink. In order to get the ready to drink to be, I guess, to be smooth and work
smooth. Smooth.
Yeah, so there are
it's
differences
not only
between
smooth.
them.
Now, I was gonna say, it's not only smooth. You also need to think. Like, imagine you have oats on a drink. Like, you make your smoothie at home. You could, I made my own smoothie. You add oats, you add milk, maybe a scoop of protein powder. But like, if you leave it, it will deposit in the
swell
flow on the product.
Yeah, and also they swell.
They swell
as well, don't they? If you leave, if you make up a Huel or whatever, or some other things, products I've had, I think Satura, stuff like that. If you leave it and then you come back, it feels a lot thicker, which is fine. But you might like it like that, and it makes you feel more satiated. But but you can't have that in a drink, because it's got a shelf life of 12 months, unopened, doesn't it? So it's going to sit. You want it to be a smooth experience, so that
and you talk about shelf life. When you talk about shelf life, you need to think a lot of the items are much more durable in powder form, whereas when you mix them with water, then you can already have some issues with shelf life
and activating.
Exactly, a lot shorter. So you'll start, like, if you are in the industry for long enough, you'll start recognizing that some ingredients go in well with some format, and other ingredients go better with the other format. Therefore, oats, you'll always see oats in powder format, maybe in a bar, like I think Vitamin Bar, or Vitamin Bar from Jake, that's it. But it was like, it had a really weird texture beforehand. I don't know whether you tried the old ones. So oats will always go in the powder because they play nice. In the moment, they don't swell. They are exceptionally good nutritionally. Whereas you will see something like tapioca starch or maltodextrin exactly in the ready to drink format, which is it mixes much better. It doesn't create any, it doesn't deposit in the bottom. It's much more soluble. It's better for the texture. And instead, in the bars, you'll see a lot of sugar alcohols, like we discussed,
Yeah. Because
that
the
they
problem with the
don't
bar
provide that
is,
many.
yeah, the problem with the bar is you're trying to basically condense the powder into a solid form. So now you've got the reverse problem. Like with the ready to drink, you're trying to say, how can I make it stay the same consistency in terms of the liquid form and not degrade and feel smooth when you drink it? When you move to the ready bar, you've got to say, how do I get the powder and then condense it, make it solid so it doesn't fall apart, especially when you break it.
Fall apart, exactly.
Yeah. So then you've got to start adding stuff to make it
Which is,
bind.
think about the baking. When you bake, you usually add sugar or
Yeah.
flour, some kind of item that will bind the
Yeah.
thing together. In bars, it's usually sugar. So some of the bars that are more natural, like the powder matter bars, which I think they've been re-released, they have a lot of datils, like like
Yeah.
the fruit. So
Yeah.
they use
Because that's
that
good bind.
that
Yeah.
sugar, yeah, so that glucose in order to bind it together, part of it. Whereas maybe something like Huel will choose sugar alcohol so that they can say,
Yeah.
oh, we are low in sugar. Because otherwise you might be in like 25 grams or 20 grams per 400 kilocalorie,
Yeah.
which
Because
for
if you're
some
using the
people might
fruit,
be not very appealing.
there's natural sugars in
Exactly.
fruit, but it's going to raise your sugar level. And whilst
Exactly.
that might be fine because it's natural sugar from fruit, it it might
Mhm.
not look so good on the label. If it looks
On
better
the
from a
label.
marketing point of view if you could say low in sugar. I mean, it's like what sugar? There's
Exactly.
different types of sugar. So some are good sugars, some are less
Mhm.
good sugars. So it's just interesting. And I do see that sort of
So,
dates or syrup, some
mhm,
sort of syrup is a common binding product
yes,
I've seen in
glucose
some
syrup,
bars. Yeah,
agave
glucose
syrup.
syrup. Yeah, yeah,
So I would say usually, and this is not one to one, it doesn't work for everything, but let's say someone asks me, oh, what's the healthiest thing? I would usually say the powders tend to be the healthiest because they can have more ingredients on them.
yeah.
They can have the oats, which are much better nutritionally than maltodextrin, simply because they have more natural fibers. They have iron, zinc, phytonutrients. So they're much more nutrient rich than just
Less,
maltodextrin.
yeah, there's
Uh,
less compromises have to be made with the powder, don't they? They can just put the pure
exactly. You can add
ingredients. They don't have to worry about
mhm,
what they put in there too much.
anything almost.
So
Yeah.
it can be you can have your flax seeds and your sunflower
I mean,
seeds
your
and
spinach that you were
oats.
talking about,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
spinach,
yeah.
acai berry,
Spinach powder, yeah.
uh, all the vegetable
Spirulina,
powders that
that
you want
type
to
of
add,
stuff. Yeah,
no issues, no
yeah.
issues.
It's just
Whereas if
that
you leave
Dare's
them for
got.
too long, maybe.
I was to
Mhm,
say Dare. I noticed it. So they've got organic brown rice, but they've got pink Himalayan salt as well, which is considered one of the best
mhm.
salt to give it a nice flavor
Yeah,
again.
but imagine you have something like spirulina in a or like an algae or a vegetable.
Yeah,
They might not taste very strongly at the start, but if you leave them for a long time in water, it will take that flavor.
yeah,
That flavor will get
yeah.
stronger and
It,
stronger and
so it will
stronger.
tarnish the
So
flavor of the product. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's why usually, like the shake, the powder is a lot more liberal. You see more ingredients, and you have a lot more to choose from usually than with the
It,
ready to drink, or even the bars. But
yeah. So I'm just saying. So
I was
interesting.
gonna.
So you've got a page on your site where you talk
Yep.
about you
Yep.
break down what meal. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can check out latestfuels.com. There's a guide on there. And he breaks down the difference between the powder and ready to drinks, what they are. And interestingly enough, there's a sort of halfway house between
Yes. Yes.
the powder and the ready to drink. I mean, I say a halfway house. It's effectively the powder, but it's delivered to you
Yes, it is.
in a bottle. So the idea
In a.
is you just add water to the bottle and then you shake it.
Mhm,
So in the way that we said the
mhm,
convenience, as opposed to if I just, so normally the shakers that you get with the powder, and you meant drink out of are quite large. You can't put it in the side pocket
Mhm.
of your rucksack. If you have like a little backpack for work, some have little side
Mhm.
pockets. You can put a little drinks bottle in there. You can't really fit a large shaker in there, but you can fit a ready to drink. So what some
Definitely.
companies have done is said, okay, we'll put the powder in a bottle, and then you add the water, and then you can take that in that form, and it
Mhm.
saves, as you say, you don't have to do the washing up. Although I'd argue question environmentally friendliness, which is what I found
Environmentally
with a
friendly, yes.
feed. Yeah. So with feed, when I first tried the French product feed, I really loved the
Mhm.
idea that it came in a clear bottle, a plastic bottle, and you just added water, gave it a shake, and then you drank it. And it
Mhm.
was about a nice convenient size to carry about, which is the same convenience you have with a ready to drink. But then I did question, I did think,
Already measured.
yeah, it's all measured out for you. Don't none of you're not going to have the spillage problem. Anybody who takes, complete
Exactly.
nutritional products will know that your kitchen top or wherever you are suddenly gets covered in powder. And if it's at work, it looks very suspicious, especially if some product is super. What was I testing out recently? And it was like super white powder. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
So if you get a bit on your top or whatever, and then you go back to your desk, people are wondering why there's some white powder on your thing. So honestly, it's not what you think.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's interesting that this is the what you've got on your site here that I'm showing is another French brand. So is that
Vita Ramen.
Vita Line? Are they French as well?
Yeah, they're French. Yes, they're
Yeah,
French.
so
They're
it's
more
interesting that
focused on
both
organic
Feed,
products.
yeah, Feed and Vitaline use that same approach for their products, in a clear sort of
It's a
like a drinks bottle that you might buy from the supermarket.
I mean, from the company's standpoint, it's basically you have another product.
Yeah,
You kind of like have another product for free because you already have the powder. Therefore, you don't really care about the. You just need to. You don't need to develop a new one. So that's handy for them. And for the user standpoint, in theory, you have that convenience that the powders don't give you, and you don't have to clean the shaker, or you don't have to measure it, or even you don't have to take your pouch to your workplace.
yeah,
That
no,
one of the
it's
issues for
already
me,
already
you
measured
take
out
all
for
your
you.
pouch.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So
And then on the other
yeah,
side, you've
so
got you've got your diversification, that we see from, like people like Huel with their hot and savory range and the Plenny pots,
mm,
um, moving into warm products, so hot products like hot meals
yes.
type products. And
Hmm.
again, I'd say there's less compromises to make, because it's mostly the powder form. It's just you've got to add something
Hmm.
else to make it. I like a rice or a pasta type product or a rice based type product or a quinoa, no, a lentil or lentils or something like that, to make it feel less like a soup and more like a meal.
A lot of
But
legumes and yes.
yeah, yeah, but you've still got fundamentally the powder that you had, just with
Hmm.
some added savory spices and stuff. And then, as you say,
Hmm.
those key things, pulses and stuff, to give it some thickness and substance. Um, and it's just
I mean,
interesting, it gives another option, doesn't it?
yeah, the because I said, I think in the last episode, one of the biggest complaints from the user standpoint, it was that there was no hot alternative, that everything was cold or sweet.
Yeah,
That hence the fantastic name of Huel, hot and savory, which is what the
yeah.
consumer was asking. Uh, it's funny because Huel, sorry, the Dutch brand
Oh,
Quel,
yeah,
sorry,
quail.
Quel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they had a instant oats. So it's the
Right.
same kind of, it's instant oats, but they're
Like a
complete
porridge.
instant oats. You add like a porridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
Okay.
really really tasty. I actually quite enjoyed it. Uh, then you have the kind of soup that Jake does. Then some of the French brands used to have. We spoke about it last week. The
Yeah.
shakes, but they're savory, which is a bit
Mm.
odd. They're a bit odd to have. But
Yeah.
Huel came with this hot and savory.
Yeah.
They're a bit cardboardy because a lot of it is dehydrated legumes or
Y-
whatever I just say,
yeah.
and I feel
Yeah.
like that hydration process doesn't work as well
Yeah. Yeah.
as it should have. But yeah, I think they're a fantastic product. We especially for dinner or
Yeah.
for
Because you
some
want
time
something
when you
hot
have
in the
more.
evening, don't you? That's the thing, and that's why it's
Yeah, you.
perfect. In the same way that we
Mhm.
said that we mentioned that Huel did, and you've got it on your site. It's again, those that are
Maybe.
on the podcast. Huel for one did a Huel granola, which was a breakfast,
Hmm.
and it had all the same nutritional, nutrients and product that's in the powder, but in a granola form.
Hmm.
And I quite like. It was quite expensive, but I quite liked it
It
as a
was.
breakfast concept. But they stopped doing it for some reason.
Hmm.
I'm wondering whether the problem with that is the measurement of the you can't guarantee that you're getting the same slightly with the hot and savory because it's got like bits of pasta in it or lentils or whatever, and
Hmm.
you've got it and larger objects sink to the bottom and lighter objects raise to the top. You've got to make sure you give it a good
Hmm.
shake. Whereas in the powder
Yeah,
itself, everything is milled. It's all milled to the same side.
it's
There are
all
no
one.
bits in there. Yeah. Whereas in the hot and savory,
Hmm.
the individual components are in there and they
Hmm.
settle, don't they? So you've got to give the
They do.
packet a good shake. Then you scoop it out.
Hmm.
But statistically speaking, two scoops are never going to have identical
This.
amount of the nutrition
Mhm.
requirements. They'll be there or
Mhm.
thereabouts if you give it a good shake. But there
Yeah,
is
they
a
will.
problem when you get to the end of the packet. Did you take out all the nutrients at the beginning when you started scooping for your first few meals, or now are we just down to the pure
Yeah.
nutrient bits? So, and I think the same
Yeah,
with the
and you've.
granola because there are other bits in there. It's quite hard to
Mhm.
be consistent in your measurements that
Mhm.
even though you may measure exactly with a scoop, whether you're getting the exact amount of the nutritional bits that you need. So
Mhm.
are two scoops the same? So I think that's the slight problem with hot and savory. You're going to be there or thereabouts, but it's just an interesting
Yeah, it's not.
notion when you're scooping.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's the like for the most of the users, it's not going to be a major concern.
Yeah.
In the hot and savory angle, what I call them usually like food-like products. They're very interesting products, like the Mana Burger that we talked quite
Oh,
a bit
yeah.
last week, and I don't. We talk about Vita Ramen, this U.S. based
Yeah,
company
so
that
I've
they do
seen that. I'm
instant ramen.
curious because so I have a Japanese friend and she mentioned that there's a Japanese brand that do the sort of complete nutrition noodles, and I've always
Okay.
I thought I can't wait. In fact, I did review one, didn't I? What were they called?
Future noodles
Future Noodles.
from the
Yeah,
UK.
yeah, that's it. So Future Noodles did one. I mean, it was all right, but it wasn't quite. I found some of it a bit too spicy. I don't know. I mean, the guy's a chef, so you think he knows what he's talking about, but maybe he has a different taste palette than I do. I found some of them a bit
Hmm.
too spicy, um, but I just love
Hmm.
that. And the noodles weren't, because he's had to try and make them based on the sort of the powder, but to turn them into noodles. Because obviously, with the powder, you can make cookies and stuff. It's like flour, effectively, isn't it? The powder. So if it's
Yeah, you
like
can bake.
flour, you can effectively make noodles. In fact, I was going to try and experiment to see whether I could make noodles out of the powder, but then this guy went and did it, and then added loads of sort of savory stuff. So yeah, but then I'd seen the Vita Ramen stuff that you mentioned there, and I was really curious. I'd like to try it because it looks like an instant
Uh,
noodle.
yeah, it is. It actually, that's exactly what it is. So for those who don't know, Vita Ramen or Vita Ramen, we shall ask them what's the actual pronunciation. They're a very interesting company founded by two brothers. I think they're twin brothers, in the U.S. They're a very family-friendly company. They are all about supporting living wages, supporting local commerce or whatever. Anyways, they started from the noodle. So they have a noodle, which is they designed the noodle themselves. I don't think it comes from any other product's powder, but they chose the ingredients from the noodle.
Yeah.
and they develop the noodles themselves, and it's, as you can see, it's one of the big parts, or
Yeah.
their
So
their
again, for
specialty or
the
whatever.
podcast listeners, I'm showing the website here. But if you've ever had a sort of that sort of dry noodle that you just add boiling water to,
Hmm.
uh, and
Yes,
then a flavoring pack, that's what it's like, isn't
yes.
it? It's effectively that's what it looks like, except it's compact
It's
with nutrient. It says here nutrient, so it's got quinoa in it, wheat, kansui, which is a traditional ramen ingredient, corn fiber, and then
mm,
presumably all your the
the
protein and
vitamins and
nutrients and
minerals
fiber,
come on the
in the
yeah.
packet,
So I think
that
the
you
some
sprinkle on it,
yeah, some of the protein comes from the quinoas. Some like they're actually quite protein heavy. I think it's like 24 grams or something per
yeah,
400 calories or 500 calories. So they're quite protein heavy. Seem like in a good way. So yeah, it works the same way as a instant ramen would do. You add the
love
noodles,
it,
you add
yeah,
the mix, and then you put the hot water, or you put it into a pan and you mix it just like you would do your standard usual ramen. Uh, Personally, I haven't been able to try it, but
yeah,
Johnny,
same
my
here.
US writer, has, and he was quite positive about it. He said that it's surprisingly good. He enjoys some flavors more than the others.
I like the
They now
idea of it
come
because
with
of
the
the sorry,
Mhm.
it feels more like a conventional dry noodle type thing,
Yes,
which I quite
yes,
like those sort of instant noodle uh, products. They're quite easy and convenient. It's got 26 grams, apparently 26 grams of protein in it, so
exactly,
that's a
per
lot, isn't it,
500
really?
calories. So
Yeah, and
yeah, it
yeah,
is. It is pretty good. And as I was saying, it's exactly, it's like instant noodle, super friendly, and they've just come with the 3.0 version, so which is
okay.
the latest version, like a week
So
ago or
it's
2 weeks
so
ago.
it's 400 calories here, according to their
That's
thing
for the
here.
naked ones.
Oh, the naked ones. Okay,
Mhm.
right.
So they have
Okay.
like they have, I think, three vegan flavors or a couple of vegan flavors, and
Oh,
so they
there we
have
are.
few
Yeah,
vegan flavors and few non-vegan flavors.
yeah.
Anyways, I think like
Ooh,
the one thing that it doesn't work very well, and they have been heavily criticized, is the when you buy instant noodles, you buy instant noodles because they're cheap. I don't know what the
yeah,
price is, 50p per package or less,
yeah, yeah.
like
Super cheap.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas super cheap. Whereas Vita Ramen ones are about $4 to $5 a meal.
yeah.
So you're paying premium for that
Oh
healthy
my God.
status.
A
And I can
nine
understand
pack.
if you're like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
49 quid for a 9 pack. So sorry, $49.
Exactly.
So that's what, $5, over $5.
$5. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
That, yeah, wow.
yeah, that is a big drawback of them. It is true, as I said, a lot of the costs go to the wages of the laborers. The
Yeah.
shipping is a bit more expensive than shipping the powder. But yes, when you're comparing them to a normal instant noodle, it is a big drawback. But if you have the cash, I would definitely recommend trying them out. They're a healthy alternative to your instant noodles. It's still quite tasty. They're one of the most interesting complete food that you can have.
Yeah. So the futures for reference. So you're right. Yeah, my mistake. Their main noodles are 500, just over 500 calories, and then, but
Mhm.
for comparison, the future noodles are £22. So in the UK, £22. They're very different product. I hasten to add, although they're
Mhm.
noodle, it's very different because they're plant based. Again, um, 6 pots, 22 50.
50
So between £3 to £4.
under 4.
So I guess
Yeah,
from a dollar point of view, that's about $5. So actually, it's probably, yeah, um,
quite similar.
yeah. I don't know. I just thought there a bit too much flavor in some of these, and the noodles were a
Mhm.
strange texture in the future noodle ones.
So
Um,
yeah, it's as you can see, you will
yeah,
have multiple different products that you can try. Uh, some will suit some styles better, some will suit other people better. Different moments, but yeah, some are more cheaper. Like powder is a lot cheaper than RTD and bar. So make sure if you have any doubts to check the guide. And otherwise, yeah,
yeah,
I
definitely
think
check
this is a
out.
comprehensive. overview.
Yeah, check out latestfuels.com. Description will be in your podcast description and also in the description on YouTube. And it's down there. You can see on the screen, latestfuels.com, if you want to find out more about that. So quickly talking about bars. So we talk about, let's compare some bars. We touched on it here, the Plenny Bar, which is a full meal effectively, isn't it? And then the yFood bar. So why don't we talk about that very briefly?
Uh, yeah, I mean, we can talk like when I'm moving full meal and snack, it's usually calories we will consider full meal. Although for some
Yeah,
people that would be arguably
yeah,
a bit small.
yeah.
Whereas the snack
But
bars
I
tend
think
to
the
be around
minimum that
200.
yeah, the minimum
Yes.
for a meal is at the 400 calories to qualify, I think, as a full meal. And then anything less than that, like you say, the 200 calories, definite is a snack bar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think waifu might have 250. But yeah, it's so they're from the calorie standpoint, they're slightly different. But
Yeah.
it's also from the texture and the taste
Yeah.
are two completely different approaches, which I really
Yeah.
enjoy. Like
Yeah.
there are two
Yeah.
different bars. I enjoy both of them very much. As we mentioned earlier, I find Plenty bars. By the way, I think Plenty bars are plant based, whereas yFood bars are not vegan
Yeah.
or plant
That
based.
no, so
So
they will probably have the milk protein in the bars.
exactly.
Um, which is what I
So if
love.
you,
Unfortunately, I love the milk protein. That's what makes them tasty.
yeah, I did too.
But
I did
bad
too.
news if you're a vegan, I think, by the looks of things. I'll try and look at the ingredients. Carry
There
on.
are other alternatives that we'll speak about it
Yeah.
later, though. So don't worry, there's plenty of alternatives.
Oh, plenty. Yeah. I had
Anyways,
the vegan bar, which exactly it was named exactly what it is. A vegan. The vegan bar was called vegan bar. I love it. But yeah, sorry.
so the yeah the so plenty bar and is one of my favorite ones, as I said I mentioned earlier. I enjoy them because they have a flapjack like texture, so
Yeah.
they're a bit uh not harder. I guess harder is not. I guess they are a bit harder. You need to chew them more. It's not that
Yeah.
chewiness that protein bars tend to have. It crumbles
It's
a little bit more.
Yeah,
All,
they've packed everything in, haven't they? That's the thing. Like the same, it was the
Mhm,
same with other bars I've tested, and we talked about earlier in different the product ranges. They've had to pack. They're packing 400 calories in, and all the nutrients.
mhm,
Basically, what you would scoop into a drink, plus a few other bits to combine it together. They've got to pack it, so you do get that kind of quite chewy, sometimes dry, um, flapjack
mhm.
kind of texture. But I think what Plenty do well is they don't make it so dry. I think it's
Yes, it's still a bit
some of
moist.
the
Yes,
ingredients. Yeah, so they do a apricot and what was it flavor, which I really like.
fig.
Yeah, the
So the
fig.
fig
That's
one,
it.
fig almond.
Yeah, and it works really well because it helps bind it, but it also it works on two levels because it gives it a really nice
Mhm,
flavor, and
mhm,
also binds it at the same time.
mhm. I guess it's like it comes like a similar matter to we would say powdered mother bars, where the dates and the fruits act as a as a binder as well as a nutrient ingredient. And in the case of the powder mother bars, they're quite spiced, so you'll notice a
Yeah,
lot of natural, like he uses goji berries and all other flavors that they come through. In plenty bars, the flavors are more subtle. The
yeah,
bar, like I guess the oatiness or whatever, they comes through, but
yeah,
there's some of the flavors like salted caramel work excellently
yeah.
with
So this is what
this
I
base
find
flavor.
with the plenty powders, you
Mhm,
have that the
mhm,
dominant flavor, the dominant taste is the slight oaty thing. And although they have a great range of flavors,
mhm,
the flavors are almost they don't overpower the main product. So all the products have the same
mhm.
sort of base taste to it, but each with a hint of their own
Yes.
individual flavor. So when you take the drink the powders or whatever, you're not going to be overwhelmed by that particular flavor. They have the sort of same base flavor, just each with their particular
Mhm,
accent, whether it's the salted caramel or whatever accent they do, which
mhm,
which is great. But yeah, with the bars, I think you're right. They they have some interesting flavors, and I think the almond and fig is probably one of my favorites. And then the hazelnut and
Mhm.
coffee, because they've used the hazelnut again. It's doing two things. It's giving
Exactly.
you a genuine crunch amongst the
Yeah, difference in
chewiness
texture,
and
which is
bits,
thankful.
yeah.
Mhm.
Plus, it's providing all the benefits you get from a hazelnut, and then there's coffee in
Mhm.
there. So there's caffeine and L-theanine in the hazelnut coffee one as
Mhm.
well. And of course, we can't not talk about the Plenny Bar without talking about the pizza flavor, which I don't know whether it's just a marketing thing to make you go,
I think it was,
what?
yes.
You know, a pizza flavor bar. It's
Mhm.
all right, but it's just a bit weird. It tastes. The
I
weird thing is, it tastes like tomato and Italian herbs, like it's meant
It
to.
does. It does. It is
But
a
your
bit
head
like
goes, this is wrong. This is all wrong.
mm,
What am I?
I
What's
feel like
happening
if you had,
here?
yeah, I was gonna say if you had I think in France they do like they're like a small crisps, like they're like bread crisps or
Yes.
whatever. Like they do have tend to have like this kind of oregano with tomato
Yeah.
bread crisps or whatever,
Yeah.
which are kind of similar to the pizza bar. Personally, as you say,
But a whole
it's
bar.
not
Yeah.
awful.
No.
Yeah, it's not
It's just.
awful,
Yeah,
but
it's just
it's
weird.
not the one I would choose.
Yeah.
Not in the slightest. I think most of them are very very good. And yeah, it's 20 grams of plant-based protein, 400 calories, good
Yeah.
texture. You can take them anywhere. Uh, yeah, and price-wise, I was writing down the prices before before we started the show to have some coming back. But in the UK is £2 20, the most expensive, and is
Yeah.
186 the cheapest.
186
So
is.
if you subscribe,
Yeah.
you have a tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you subscribe, 10% discount, 186. In the US is 255 if you subscribe, which is very good for a bar.
For a bar. Yeah.
400 calories. Yeah, it's very very good price. It's very competitive. And I think in Europe is 175 the cheapest that you can get, or maybe €2. I don't maybe, but maybe €2. I can't remember by heart. But anyways, it's there are if they're not the cheapest, they're among the cheapest, and the
Yeah.
value they offer for the price is both in all UK, US, Europe, unparalleled in my
It
opinion.
compares with the same value as of the some other companies' snack bars, which are only 200 calories. So
Mhm.
you're getting a full
Exactly.
meal with the Plenny Bar, which leads me nicely to the yFood, which is serving the yFood bar, which is serving a very different
Mhm.
purpose. Um, and that is a snack bar, as we mentioned.
Exactly.
And this is a very different thing. This is more like uh, I guess for American audience, a candy bar. Uh, it
It is. Yeah.
it's sort of got enough sort of a chocolate type coating to it, uh, a biscuit, like a biscuit base, and like a caramel like sort of bit in the middle, and then sort of coated by chocolate. So it's like in the UK, it's like a candy bar we might buy in the UK. Uh, in terms of its texture, I mean, they're not the ingredients, but just in terms of the way it looks and it tastes, it is like it feels weird
Mhm.
because I feel like I'm having a candy bar, like a
It does.
chewy
Yeah.
candy bar, a chocolate coated chewy candy
Mhm.
bar, and not actually, weirdly enough, a healthy nutritional uh, snack bar. And I think part of the reason that it
Mhm.
works as well is, again, it's back to that I think it's got the milk protein element in it, which works well with that
It
when
does. Yeah.
you're trying to pretend to be a chocolate bar, which is what it's trying to be, like
Mhm.
a chocolate coated candy bar.
Mhm.
I think it helps that you've got that kind of milk element in it.
No, I was gonna say the yFood bar is only available in UK and Europe for
Yeah.
the our US listeners. If you want something similar in the US, you'll probably the Huel Complete bar, the Huel Complete Protein bar. I think it might have a similar texture. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think there's many complete food options that are similar to yFoods in the UK in the US.
Yeah, so one of the reasons, so looking at the ingredients here, you've got soluble corn fiber, milk protein, then you've got the maltitol sweetener, but then you've got cocoa butter, which is what is used to make, milk chocolate, cocoa paste, chicory root fiber, and whole milk chocolate. So it's actually got
Uh,
chocolate in it, which is what makes it kind of work.
yep.
But then it's got,
Hmm.
all your 26 vitamins and minerals and all that kind of stuff that you come to expect. 25 vitamins and minerals,
Hmm.
13 grams of protein, and sufficient dietary fiber. But if you're sort of a snacker with your afternoon coffee or
Hmm.
afternoon tea or whatever, I find it quite useful to have a sort of a cheeky little snack. And yeah,
Definitely.
I know it's
Or you're big into sports.
yeah, but
It's kind of
yeah,
handy.
it just feels like a candy bar, and so that part of me, I have like a guilty feeling almost about it. But
Hmm.
it's just very different. You get, as you say, you get the Plenny type bars, which feel really dense. Whenever I've reviewed things like that, the same with the Huel bars, the original Huel bars, not the new ones.
Or the vitamin bars by Jake.
Yeah, exactly those, but it's very dense because everything's like been squished
Hmm.
and packed together. So and sometimes it's quite dry. But I think Plenny of all those ones that are in that form, I think Plenny have got it probably right in terms of the texture,
Hmm.
and it feels, as you say, more like a flapjack than a
Hmm.
quite condensed bar. I also say when I tested the bar, always have a cup of tea ready because you sort of need to,
Yes.
it's quite dry when you have it. But with the Plenty Bar, you don't really need a drink with it, although I still do. And I love the,
Recommended,
the
yes.
the addition of, like you say, the fig and the hazelnuts, and it just gives it extra texture and interesting taste as well. And then on the flip side, for a snack bar, you got the yFood, which just feels like you're eating a guilty, having a guilty pleasure of a candy bar. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So anyway, so those are the bars. And there's lots of other
Yeah,
bars, as we've mentioned, to
I think,
choose from.
yeah, I was gonna say, if you're looking for a bar, I think if you're in the US, you'd be looking for something like Huel, Plenty Bars, as we spoke of. Great choice. There's Meal Squares, a brand that I personally haven't tried, but they do more like a 400-calorie meal, I think. Soylent Square, which is not great. I wouldn't recommend it. I think maybe Huel does. Huel and Jake, they deliver from Europe, so those are two other brands that you could look at, or Green Belly, which is more a nutty, a nutty bar. In Europe, you have multiple brands that cover it. You have Saturo, Huel, Huel, JimmyJoy, Powder Mother, and I should never ever forget about Fit. And I'll go in a
Yes.
small tangent about Fit because if I were to name my top three bars, it would probably be Fit, Powder Mother, and Plenty Bars. And the thing with Fit is that the range of bars that they offer is absolutely mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. So um,
So
Clive is
they talk,
showing in the screen.
yeah. So they talk about here. They've got protein shot bars. Then they've got your original bars by the looks of things.
Mhm. The
Um,
light bars,
let's go
the
for the
sport
bars.
bar.
Yeah. Oh my God. So
Mhm.
it's a long time since I've had any feed products. They never did all of these
Mhm.
back in the day. Energy boost bars, focus, one for focus. Snack
Mhm.
functional
So
bars,
I've
snack
been trying
light
them.
bars. Oh, I like the snack. Oh, snack lights.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah,
Like
they're
little,
really good. The
like
Crunchable and the
sweets,
granola one are really tasty. Yes,
like
yes,
Maltesers. They don't deliver to the. How do
they
you get
are.
them?
They are.
Are they delivering to the UK?
Yeah. I thought they used
Because
to.
when I
Yes, look at
tried, I
the
had to.
flag.
Oh no,
I think, is that the UK flag?
yeah, they got the UK. Yeah, that's just the
Yeah.
languages. Um,
Ooh.
when I tried, but this was soon after Brexit. I had to cancel my order
Oh. Okay.
because they were no longer delivering to the UK. I don't know whether that's rectified or not.
I don't
But
know.
I had the
There's been
same.
huge issues in.
Yeah, Jimmy Joy had the same problem initially for a while,
Mhm.
and then they sorted it out.
So I've been trying the bars recently, and they've been kind enough to give me all the bars. So I'll give a brief rundown for anyone who's interested. If you're
Yeah.
looking for your proper meal, go for the original ones or the sport ones. The original ones are 400 calories, about 3.5 euros, so 3.5 euros, and they're quite sweet. They're a bit crumblier than they're more cakey, more spongy than
Yeah.
the Plenny bars, but it's still really good. I really enjoy the chocolate one and the coconut one, but they have flavors like lemon chocolate or yeah, they have 6 flavors to choose from, I think. The sports one, they're even more crumbly, and they have a um, chocolate coating. They're 430 calories, but they're slightly more expensive than the original one at 4 euros per meal. Then you have the light version, which is the 200 calorie, but still with extra vitamins and minerals. They cost about 3.5, so it's more expensive. It's more expensive than the sport on the original one.
Yeah.
I would, even though they're really tasty and they're some of the tastiest in the whole range, I would not recommend them just because of the price. I think you can even take a sport one and maybe divide it by two and have it in
Yeah.
two different goes. Uh, I would go for like something like that. And then now they've gone for the snack bars, which are tend to be between 100 and 200 calories,
Yeah.
and there's multiple. Some of them are more nutty, some of them are more chocolatey. Add a lovely brownie and caramel or something like that. They're really extremely tasty. As a guilty pleasure. But these are
Love it.
quite expensive as well. So original one for the best money value for money. The rest you explore it. I think you like almost any of them. I think they're really like they're maybe a bit too sweet, but they have different textures, they have different flavors. I highly recommend if you're into bars, if you're getting bored of like having the same texture and flavor, I would highly recommend trying the fit bars. And anyone that's in Europe, is looking for bars. Yeah, I think they would do well. Again, there's
Yeah.
plenty of to choose from, but yeah.
Good recommendation. I think I'll have to get back in contact to see whether they are delivering to the UK. We'll let you know in the description anyway if they still are and stuff like that. Because I need to try go back to feed because it's been a few years since I tried it. But there you go. That's
I'll leave
another
you.
that's another show. I hope you enjoyed that show, everybody. Let us know if you have any feedback on in the YouTube comments, or if there's space on your podcast, wherever to feedback
Helpful
and
feedback last time. Someone
yeah, it's really useful.
I was gonna
Any
say someone
questions?
suggested the timestamps, and we
Yeah,
know timestamps. So
and
we're
put
like,
the
we
stuff.
forgot about the timestamps. I was
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Any subject areas you'd like us to cover, all of that. Don't
yes,
forget to visit and subscribe latestfuels.com. You do a newsletter, don't you? Subscribe to a newsletter.
I do.
So make
I do.
sure
Yes.
you visit latestfuels.com, subscribe to the newsletter there. And of course, if you're watching, or even if you're not watching the YouTube channel, then subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss content like this. And if you are watching on the YouTube, make sure you hit the likes, because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it will help people like you find content like this. I hope you enjoyed the show. So it's goodbye from me,
Yeah. Goodbye. Have a good
and
week.
it's goodbye from Annie. All right, thank you guys. Goodbye.